Good afternoon, everyone. For avoiding the disturbance, we kept everyone on mute. But if you can just confirm via chat, if I'm audible, we'll open up the chat at the time of open up the voice at the time of Q&A session if needed. But for now, participant, if you can please you know confirm via chat whether I'm audible. Perfect. I'm getting the responses. Amazing, amazing. So let us get going. Again, well, good afternoon and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of VersaTech Global and SonicWall, welcome to the session on ZTNA for hybrid workforce using SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge. We also call it CSE, right? Before we get into the core discussion, I'll take a couple of minutes to introduce VersaTech and set the context. So we are cybersecurity solutions provider. We help business protect their IT environment. Uh, at VersaTech Global, our focus is simple. We help organizations secure and modernize their IT environment. Our capabilities span across the entire cybersecurity ecosystem, from network security to endpoint protection to cloud security and data protection, including managed services. We help organizations like yours to build a comprehensive integrated security posture. What's important for us is security today is no longer siloed, right? It has to be connected, scalable, aligned with how users and applications operate today, right? So what we do, like how what we help solve, like right. So with hybrid workforce, which is a very common nowadays, users are connecting from anywhere. Applications are distributed across cloud, on-prem, private cloud, public cloud, so on and so forth, right? Traditional VPN based models are struggling heavily to keep it up. And this is where organizations are moving beyond VPN, adopting zero trust network access. We call it ZTNA, and looking for simpler cloud delivered security models. So what we do with SonicWall, right? Our approach is with SonicWall is very simple. We help companies, we help organizations in these important transitions. We follow a very structured approach, like I said, in partnership with SonicWall. We start with consulting, rather understanding the current environment and defining a zero trust roadmap. Then we implement the SonicWall CSE in a way that integrates seamlessly with existing systems. And finally, we manage to ensure that the continuous monitoring is in place, optimization is there, and the post-sale support is there. The goal is very simple. Enable a smooth and secure transition from VPN to zero trust. Like as we all know, right? Each organization need help. And if we look today's environment, most of the organizations are dealing with few things, right? An evolving threat landscape, increasing compliance requirements, DPDP, as we all probably hearing right now, growing concerns around data protection, right? Like I said, often limited internal resources to manage all these. Like at IT leadership level, it is a task to manage all this, right? And at the same time, the expectation is to ensure the business continuity with secure access and without adding additional complexity. And this is exactly why solutions like ZTNA and Cloud Secure Edge are becoming very critical. With that context, we'll move into the deeper look at how this can be achieved in practice. I'm introducing Naveen Gautam, who is a senior insight territory manager from SonicWall. Naveen ji, over to you to enlighten everyone.
Thank you so much, Bhaveshji, for the introduction. So, very good afternoon, everyone. So, thank you for joining the session. So, my name is Naveen Gautam, and I've been handling this cloud secure edge, or we can say ZTNA solution here in Sonic Wall. So, we'll be talking more around what this solution is, what cloud secure edge is, what is ZTNA, why people are moving, from ZTNA to VPN, what are the current vulnerabilities here. So, let me just share my screen. And Bhaveji, can you just confirm it once?
I will
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes. So now in today's webinar, I'll be covering this one of the key topic, which is Cloud Secure Edge, our CSE or ZTNA solution, which is offered by our SonicWall as a solution for modernizing the VPN. So before we talk about what Cloud Secure Edge is, I'll give you brief understanding and a detailed understanding around what this VPN is, why it's getting vulnerable, what this new technology called ZTNA, why choose ZTNA over VPN, and then we'll move forward towards what SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge does. So when it comes to the questions, what is VPN? What is your virtual private network? So so VPN was a traditional method which was used by organizations to provide access to internal resources for their remote employees. So it was very much focused on how you provide access to internal resources. Rather, when we talk about around the security, it has nothing, very much related to security. The main focus was providing the access. The main focus for VPN was never to provide a secure access. So that's where, when there is a cloud adoption happening and post COVID, the things have been changing. There is a lot of malicious activities happening. The attacks has been increased in the company. So now there is a new technology came up in the market, which is called ZTNA. So what is it, ZTNA? So ZTNA is a modern security framework, or I'll say it's a modernized version of your VPN, which provides a secure remote access to your users who is accessing any application, either it's your private application or it's your cloud application, and you wanted to access it from anywhere in the world. And this ZTNA adopts a principle of never trust, always verify, which means whenever a user comes and he's getting authenticated, you this solution does, this always authenticate that user, whether the credentials are correct, or the kind of a device which is allocated to, is it compliant, or the location based or identity which he's using, is it the correct one. If the all the parameter matches, then it provide access to their private or internet applications. Now what becomes the key features here, which are not very much available in the VPN? Like in VPN, is it it's not possible to create a granular access policies, but in ZTNA what you can do, you can create policies depending upon a very application level access. Let's say you wanted to give an access to a user just for two applications, or let's say just two resources for your organization. With VPN it's not possible, but with ZTNA you can create that policy and you can only give access to that specific user to those specific application. Then again what it does, the second key feature is the it reduces your lateral movement. Whether in VPN, when you provide access, you don't have visibility towards what that user is accessing. So if any credential compromise happens, the hacker can move literally into your network and without detection, undetected. But here what happens, how it reduces your lateral movement, because you are providing the access on a very granular level. You have the full visibility on your user, what your users are doing, what kind of application they are accessing, are they authorized to use that application. And then the other part comes where you can also manage your BYOD devices. Like in some of the organization, there is a policy called BYOD devices where you need to bring your own device. So in that case, you can also implement certain policies when they are accessing those application from their own laptop. So if they are using it, what kind of a application they can access, how much access they must be granted. So all these things can be possible with ZTNA technology. Now, why people are choosing, or why companies are moving towards ZTNA over VPN? So as now you have seen, the companies have started moving, most of the companies has post COVID has started moving to remote work. or hybrid kind of environment, and they have started moving towards cloud applications. Now, traditional VPN becomes inadequate in securing this modern access needs, where ZTNA provide a more secure, flexible, and granular access control, reducing the risk of data.
Navinji,
Hello, yes.
I'm sorry. You're not on a presentation mode, so slides are not moving.
Uh, uh, is it not moving yet?
No, it's still the same. I mean, it's
Just just a second. Let me share it again then. Now is it moving?
we are on the agenda slide. Can you move to the next slide?
Yeah, I have already moved it. It's on ZTNA part.
No, 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 no. We see the second slide, which is agenda, and it's not in a presentation mode.
Okay. Can you see it now?
No, still the same. It was moving earlier, right? When we did the trial
Wait,
run.
wait. I think let me do it this way then.
Yeah. Now we are on what is VPN. Yeah.
Now, can you see what is ZTNA?
Correct, correct. We are there. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So now, when I was talking around what is why companies are moving towards ZTNA and why it has becoming a more prominent into the market. So there are certain advantages over for ZTNA when it comes to when you are also considering VPN. So what happens? The access which is granted in the VPN, you can once it's granted, it's an entire network. But in ZTNA, the access is specific to application only. You can create that application level access. In VPN, trust is assumed after login, and whether in ZTNA, it always follows the protocol of never trust, always verify. So as soon as the system or ZTNA technology sees that there is a malicious activities is been carried away by any user, or he has clicked any kind of a malicious link, what this solution isolate that user, and then what that user have to do now, the user have to go through all the authentication protocol again. VPN are very much, if you see, VPN are very much dependent upon the hardware. They are dependent upon the on-prem hardware, and whether the ZTNA solutions are cloud-based and easily scalable. Like today, if you have 10 user, 20 user, 50 users, you can start with those kind of user. And next year, when you see your user base has been increased or it has been even decreased, you can change the number of users depending on it. But when it comes to VPN, it's totally depend on the hardware. When it comes to user experience, because it's all the data is getting routed through VPN, through your firewall or through your hardware, so there is a backhauling, there is a slowness of data. But in ZTNA, the access is faster because it's app based access with local pops. And now, in current scenarios, in current situation where things are moving very fast, people are adopting new technologies. So post COVID, there are a lot of changes has been into the organization. There is a new realities has came up. People have started working from home, from different locations, from cafes, from unmanaged Wi-Fi, from open Wi-Fi sources. People are moving, working from the airport. People are working on the road, on the go. So there is also a new risks has been evolved during the time. So business as user moves to the cloud, people have working from any location. So this has given a rise to the attackers. There is a credential compromise has been increased. Scammers are doing phishing attack, ransomware attacks when the data has been lost, and it becomes a pain for the IT admins when they have to manage, their own user. They are not able to access. They are not able to see what their users are doing. They're not able to control the users, or they don't have any method to monitor that user or restrict that user from using the websites or the application which are not for them. So now we'll talk a little bit more around what are these VPN vulnerabilities. Why we heard a lot around the VPNs are not able to cope up with the current market, but what are the vulnerabilities? So first vulnerability is the security. So earlier it was when it was the purpose was only to give the access to your internal resources or resources. It was easy, but when it comes to security, and once in VPN, what's the VPN issue? Once the user is authenticated, they gain broader network access, which allows lateral movement across the internal system. And when it comes to ZTNA, users and devices are granted access only to specific application and resources based on who the person is, from which device he's uh, trying to access the application, and the security policies which has already been implemented to it. For example, there is a person from the IT team, and there is a finance team. The application which is getting used by the IT team can be different, and the finance team application which they are using can be different. So how you in VPN is very much difficult to segregate that application level access. But in ZTNA, what you can do, you can create that policy that whenever an IT person comes and tries to authenticate or tries to access the internal application, he shouldn't get access more than what he is authorized to do. Like any IT person would not be able to access any application which finance team is using, or finance team would not be able to access any application which IT team is using. So this feature is called least privilege access. So ZTNA also provides you least privilege access. Second vulnerability comes threat protection. In VPN, there is only one time authentication. Like when you log in, there could be a pop-up comes to you where we need to, provide any kind of authentication, and then you get access, and you remain trusted for the entire session. But in ZTNA, the access is dynamically granted and continuously based on your user behavior, device security posture, and real-time risk assessment. So what this continuous verification means, as soon as the system detects there is a malicious activity by the user, it redirects the user to the authentication page that now the user will not be able to access anything until or unless he won't be authenticating himself again. Now to gain access to all those applications which he was using, he need to authenticate again. So this is called never trust, always verify principle, where the system is doing the continuous verification. Another part comes the vulnerability around performance and user experience. There are certain current VPN bottlenecks. Like in VPN, the user route all traffic through the central gateway, which usually causes the slow application performance, latency, and poor user experience, especially when you are giving access to your cloud or SaaS application. But in ZTNA, user connects directly to the application they need to access without backhauling traffic through because there is no hardware required for it. It's totally a fully cloud-based solution, so it doesn't require. There is no latency. There is no poor user experience. As soon as he authenticates, he wanted to access that application, he get that access faster. Then there is another vulnerability came up, which is scalability. because VPN has a very complex infrastructure. It is depending upon the hardware, expensive hardware appliances. There could be a dedicated gateways. You need to do manual configuration, and scaling up means when you wanted to scale the VPN user, you need either you need to upgrade the your hardware device, which eventually increases your cost and complexity. Whether in ZTNA is a cloud native architecture which allows organization to scale easily without needing the additional hardware or complex configuration. Which means, let's say you have already created a policy in our ZTNA platform for your marketing team, IT team, or finance team. Now, as soon as a new person join, let's say now currently you have 50 users, next month 10 more people are joining into different departments. Now, in that portal, what you just have to do, rather than providing them a one by one access, you just need to add them into that same tenant or same policy bracket which you have already created for IT team or maybe finance team or the marketing. So as soon as you add them into that bracket, that specific user will get access to all those applications where for which departments is allocated to. You don't have to create access policies or anything for that specific user. It automatically gets granted to that user. And the last one is when it's a compliance and risk reduction. So VPN based access usually doesn't follow any kind of a compliance standard as of now, because if you see now currently companies are following certain compliances where they need to follow some kind of they need to have some kind of a tool to meet that compliance standard. Least privilege access, continuous verification. Now you must have heard about DPDP Act, which is most is going to come very soon in India. So in DPDP, if you wanted to be a DPDP compliant, there is one of the compliance standard is that you should have a identity based access or least privilege access for your users or your employees. So ZTNA does that for you. ZTNA solution provides you granular access control, least privilege policies, and continuous monitoring, which help organization to comply with this new cybersecurity frameworks and regulatory requirements. It helps or it reduces the breach risk and ensure that compliance with the modern security mandates. Now, moving forward, what is Cloud Secure Edge? What is SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge? SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge is our ZTNA or SSC Secure Service Edge solution that delivers advanced protection for remote or hybrid workforces. If your users are working anywhere from the world or they are working from home or from any location or you have a hybrid work culture, SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge enables your user to securely access any resources from any device. Either it's your private application, either it's your SaaS application, or even if you wanted to access internet websites, everything you can do it from Cloud Secure Edge. Cloud Secure Edge is a cloud delivered solution. It has an intelligent routing rather than going through a hardware traffic route. It follows an intelligent route. Like as soon as the user authenticates, you wanted to get the access, ZTNA tool moves to the fastest tunnel and route it to the fastest tunnel and gives him the access. And then it also follows the zero trust security. You always have that thing in your hand where you can create granular policies, least privilege access, and identity based access control from this cloud security solution. Now, how actually it happens behind the scene? In a very simple language, how it happens, you connect from anywhere, whether you wanted to access any private application, even if you are sitting at home or you are working from a cafe, you wanted to access certain application, you connect from anywhere, traffic hits your nearest POP. That POP, now POP is a point of presence, is your cloud data center. rather than your traditional hardware route or a VPN tunnel route. It's a nearest POP. Now this solution checks the authentication purposes whether the identity is correct. It means the user name, ID, and password is correct. The device from which he is trying to use, is it a compliant device? And it checks the policies, what kind of a policy will be implemented to that specific user, what kind of access they should be provided. Once it all has been checked, you get access to only what you need. Now, what this modern security model is, what is ZTNA and what is SonicWall CSE, what you can do, what kind of access you get here. With this solution, you get access to your on-premise application, which are onto your own servers. You wanted to give any access to your private application, that too in a very secure way. You can do it. You have any you wanted to give access to any kind of cloud servers, where you can implement our ZTNA solution and provide that access to those servers too. Then if you are using any cloud applications, let's say you are using Salesforce, you are using Office 365, you wanted to give access to those SaaS applications, that you can also give through our ZTNA solution. And the next is, if you wanted to block any websites, you see, any internet website, like if you wanted that your users should not access any kind of a social media website, or they should not see any YouTube video. So you can, with ZTNA, this is very much possible, where you can create your own policies for that user, where he will not be able to access all the internet websites. He will only be able to access those websites which are authorized to access. So this is what it is. We provide VPN as a service. ZTNA is there. CASB, SWG. This is, everything is possible through our Cloud Secure Edge. Now, what are the key takeaways? But so I have already covered what VPN is, what ZTNA is, and what does Cloud Secure Edge. So just to iterate it, CSE, Cloud Secure Edge, is a zero trust solution. Now, what zero trust is? Zero trust is a solution which works on a framework of never trust, always verify, which means the system should always authenticate a user before giving access to any application. Now, what it is easy to deploy and manage, because we don't need any kind of a hardware. It doesn't depend on any hardware. So it's very easy to deploy and manage. And you can create your consistent policies, either it's your into your on-prem or it's on a cloud. And even if you're using any existing tool, like you're already using SonicWall Firewall or any kind of identity provider you already have for multi-factor authentication, Cloud Secure Edge easily integrates with all your existing tools. Next, it's faster, and the connectivity, it's very reliable. It optimizes user experience with no slowness into the connection. It's very easy to scale. Today you wanted to start from 5 users, tomorrow you have 50 users, you can scale. Where in VPN, the dependency is very much into the hardware, because it has a capacity of how many VPN users can it handle. And then you also get, with this SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge, you are protected against the modern threats. You are getting continuous verification. You are getting identity-based control. You can create granular application-based level policies. And least privilege access is already there. And there are many more features which are included in it. So yes, these are the key takeaways. It's easy to deploy and manage. It's faster and reliable connectivity, and it protects you from your modern threats. So, and yeah, that's it from my side. If any of you have any questions, you can write those questions, or you wanted to understand anything, you wanted me to explain anything more into the detail, or you wanted to know more around, or you have missed something, any questions if you have in mind, you can drop in the chat box. I'm happy to take it ahead.